Joining us virtually. And welcome to this webinar on revolutionizing language and literature research with AI tools. This is Leah Marie Mabini, and joining me today as your host, Charlie Burden. And it is a pleasure to be the faces that welcome all of you here in this virtual program. Today, as has always been the collective aspiration of this community, USJR, through the PhD English language class, will introduce you students, teachers, language and literature teachers, as well as administrators, to the potential of AI tools in enhancing research skills for language and literature studies. Allow me, on behalf of Dr. Buncales, to acknowledge the works and assistance extended by the different working committees and resource person for this activity. For without their support, this would not have been realized. Right, Sir Charlie?
That's right, Leia. Now, as we near the opening of our program, we'd like to remind everyone that it's an online seminar via Zoom. Hence, it's best that we first recall some house rules for this video conferencing to prevent unnecessary distractions or disruptions all throughout the session. At first, all Zoom microphones are on mute by default, and we request everyone to remain on mute all throughout the program. Next, you can use the raise hand feature if you have concerns, and kindly wait to be acknowledged. You may ask questions on the topics presented by our speaker by sending them through the Zoom chat section. Your questions will be gathered by our open forum administrators and will be answered by a resource person at the end of his session. Kindly rename your Zoom name in this format: institution underscore family name. Example, USJR underscore De La Cruz. Also, to maintain consistency, please use the official virtual background that was sent to you. If your internet connection allows, please turn on your camera for a more engaging atmosphere. Also, after the webinar, please answer the evaluation through the link found in call messages. Thank you very much. At this point, to grace the opening of this program, may I request everyone to please pause and have a moment of silence as we partake in the solemn prayer and in the singing of our national anthem.
Our Heavenly Father, the fount of all goodness and grace, the cause of wisdom, the source of intelligence, we welcome you, O Lord, to this auspicious gathering of your beloved, who continuously give you thanks for every opportunity to learn something new and become fruitful to the works of your creation. We humbly come to you, not because we are worthy, but because we find ourselves in need of you, who is our strength and our hope, to continue despite the challenges we face in health, prosperity, and our solidarity with one another. We pray that today's gathering, made possible by the grace of advancements in technology and social media, become successful in its endeavors, so we can offer it back to you as our humble offering to honor you, glorify you, and love you through our deeper connection with everyone. May we find bliss in today's session and become more productive children and co-creators of the earth. This we ask and pray through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Good morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the webinar on revolutionizing language and literature research with AI tools. Again, please be reminded that the registration, attendance, and evaluation links are all for the documentation of this event. Please access them from the in-call messages. And now to prime us for this special learning occasion, with her cordial address to welcome us all, let us have Miss Georgie Ambato. A virtual round of applause
Hi,
for her.
good morning, everyone. My pleasant greetings, and I'm very, very glad that we are all here. To the inspiring Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Marieta Boncales, to our esteemed resource speaker who will be introduced at the proper time. Thank you for sparing your time and for the learning that you are going to impart to us today. And especially to our dear participants, good morning and thank you, thank you. It's a Saturday, but we are all here. Today's webinar on revolutionizing language and literature research with AI tools was conceptualized because there is a need to talk about it. In fact, we have to frequent the conversation about AI as well as technologies. The artificial intelligence aspect is just changing so fast that even before we truly explore one, there are already more and more tools coming out. So instead of just shying away and getting overwhelmed by it, we will talk about it more and let's use it to our own advantage. Of course, within the ethical bounds of the use of technology. It's the reason why we are here today. I know that we are all excited, so let's just have this webinar going. On behalf of the organizing team, I would like to warmly welcome everyone. May your key takeaways for today be helpful to your individual endeavors. Good morning once again.
Thank you so much, Miss Georgie, for that warm welcome. Today, we have an incredible group of participants from various backgrounds, and their presence would surely make this discussion even more valuable. For the remainder of this occasion, it is highly imperative that we acknowledge everyone joining us. To do this, let us hear a few words of acknowledgement from Ms. Karen Joy de Racin. Ms. Karen.
A wonderful morning to everyone. This time, we want to take a moment to acknowledge and welcome our beautiful participants joining us from all across the Philippines. We're thrilled to have educators, students, researchers, and professionals from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao here with us today. Let's start with Luzon. A big shout out to our attendees from Luzon. Can you send us a heart reaction? Those who are from Luzon, can you please click that heart reaction so that we can acknowledge your participation here? We can acknowledge your attendance. Okay, it seems like they're still about to join, but we are anticipating their presence. And we are glad to have registrants, participants from Metro Manila, Benguet, and Batangas. Now, let's move forward to Visayas. May we see our participants from Visayas send us that wow reaction. Okay, we can see here a lot are coming from Visayas. We have participants from Cebu, of course, Iloilo, Samar, and Negros Oriental. Your presence truly enriches our discussion. And last, but certainly not the least, a warm welcome to our friends from Mindanao. Those who are from Mindanao, can you please send us the Tada reaction? Okay, the firework reaction. Okay, we can see here participants from Mindanao. We are anticipating participants from Davao, from Iligan, from Cagayan de Oro, and Zamboanga. Okay, this is incredibly a group of participants from diverse groups, and we are glad that you came here together to share knowledge and insights. We truly appreciate your time and commitment to learning. Let's make this session productive and inspiring for everyone. Sir Charlie, Ma'am Leia.
Yes, thank you very much, Miss Karen. Your acknowledgement of our diverse audience sets the stage for a truly enriching discussion. We've gotten off to a great start, and now it's time to learn more about our keynote speaker. But before we welcome him, let's first welcome Mr. Eric John August to give us some fascinating background information about the resource speaker for today. Let's give him a virtual applause to Sir Eric.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think it is really a distinct pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker for today's webinar on revolutionizing language and literature research with AI tools. Well, our speaker is a distinguished educator, and I believe he is really a rising luminary in the field of English language and literature. He is a graduate of a bachelor in secondary education, major in English, cum laude, and a master in education, major in English from Cebu Normal University. Currently, he is finishing his doctorate in philosophy in English language at the University of San Jose-Recoletos. And as a licensed professional teacher and an affiliate at the School of Arts and Sciences at USJR, the speaker I believe the speaker brings a wealth of knowledge and practical experience to his role because he has served as a research speaker and a trainer to numerous seminars focusing on research, project development, and language and literature. His expertise has also been showcased through his presentations at several national and international conferences. And his dedication, commitment, and passion for teaching are really evident in all his endeavors. Moreover, he is indeed a dynamic educator who continually seeks to innovate and inspire, making him the perfect guide for today's exploration of AI tools in language and literature research. So, dear participants, please join me in welcoming our research speaker, Mr. Ian Harabello.
Good morning. Allow me to share my screen for a while. Good morning, everyone. I know that you're all excited to learn on revolutionizing language and at the same time literature research with AI tools. And my gratitude to our Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Marieta D. Buncales. Hello, good morning, Doc. And to begin with, let us acknowledge the various objectives that we are about to learn today. First, we have to define the next generation research revolution, identify AI tools for research, evaluate the impact of AI on language and literature research. And I know for sure you're very familiar and experienced this kind of impact. Analyze the benefits and limitations of AI to research. And lastly, I will be sharing to you some of the AI tools and we'll have a bit of like workshop and at the same time applications of our learning. Before that, I want this kind of webinar to be interactive, even though we are utilizing online platform. So can you define or describe AI or artificial intelligence in one word? And I may be requesting the MCs to read out the responses of our participants on our chat box. In just one word, what do you think that would define AI or artificial intelligence?
Revolutionary, said Mr. Sikoko. Revolutionary, it's really.
Game changer.
Transformative. Machine.
Helpful.
Mm, Tool. Mhm. What else? Yeah. Machine instead. Innovative.
All right. And I believe there are a lot more of words that we could entirely define AI. Now, always remember that when we're talking about AI, this is actually, we define it as ubiquitous. It is actually everywhere. However, we just don't realize it. We are using it every day, but yet we haven't realized that we are utilizing it. Now, in a rapidly evolving of landscape of technology, AI has emerged as a cornerstone of first innovation, reshaping industries and at the same time altering the fabric of our daily lives. Just like, for example, on the patterns of how AI is impacting our lives. Just like, for example, the best example for utilizing our smartphones. I don't know for sure, but if you would agree that we could never live without our smartphones, right? We are utilizing it every day. We have security and surveillance, which are very familiar to commercial businesses and even educational institution. We have social media platform, the Instagram, the Snapshots, the Facebook that we are using. We have at the same time the e-commerce, and which are very familiar to us because sometimes when we are too stressed, one thing that's for sure that what we're doing is we go to Lazada, we go to Shopee, and we narrow down, we check out items, right? So e-commerce is entirely helpful because while we are at home, we are actually identifying, we are actually ordering some stuff. We have at the same time banking and or financial support, and those are very manifestations where GCash, we have the Maya app. Those are actually very helpful because by generating some kind of QR code, we are utilizing AI platform. All right, autonomous vehicles and even smart home. We have our smart TV at home, our Wi-Fi. Every day of our lives, AI has given an impact to it. Just to give you a very good history of AI, for us to entirely acknowledge how it begun, and at the same time how the current state of AI is as of this time. Now we have on 1950. Alan Turing published Computer Machinery and Intelligence, and those are the realizations that there is a greater potentials on AI, and that was seconded by Charles Babbage. I know for sure that you are very familiar with him, the first mechanical computer. Now, in 1956, to tell you that the Dartmouth workshop, this is actually considered the birth of AI, where there are a lot of like experts in the field where they are having conferences, they are looking out, having a lot more of researches on the potentials of this kind of AI. And the very Dartmouth workshop is a very significant that happened to the world of AI. Now, there is at the same time what we considered the AI winter, or these are actually the imbalances that happen alongside with the AI history, because these are the times where there are a lot of like lack of funding resources to support a lot of researches along with the AI potentials or the hopes for the artificial intelligence on 1970. And imagine that there are two AI winter that happened alongside, and that was 1970, and then another one in 1987. This is a very good kind of graphics on AI history. The 1943, the evolution of artificial neurons, but that was not entirely very visible. It is opaque, where Turing machine was boomed that time, and was followed by the birth of the AI Dartmouth conference, the one that I have discussed a while ago. And we had the first chat box, we called it Eliza. And I do not know if you're familiar. There is this actually book that summarizes the first chatbot, and that was named Eliza. And at the same time, we have the first intelligent robot. We call it like the Wabot one. in 1972, the first AI winter, the expert system. Again, the second AI winter that happened in 1987 to 1993. On 1997, we have the IBM Deep Blue, the first computer to beat a world chess champion. I do not know, but I was like 4 years old by that time. And that was entirely amazing, right? Integrating the very analytics, the very mindset of the very smart people in chess to a computer. Now we have AI in home, we have Roomba, and on 2011 we have the IBM Watsons that tells us that is AI is giving out the best that it could give because it wins a quiz show. Now until 2012, this is a bit of bigger impact into our lives because I believe before when I was in elementary, we have this kind of book encyclopedia, the hardbound of encyclopedia, and which we consider if you have that you're rich. But later on we realized that in 2012 Google is now available, right? Up until this time we are utilizing Google, right? And thank you Google because our life it makes our life a bit easier. 2014, we have the chatbot Eugene, the Guzman Wines, Turing Says, and the Amazon Echo. Now, let's talk about some of the statistics that would give us ideas of the utilizations of artificial intelligence. Now, this is a study from National University in 2024. Indeed, that there are, in their findings, 77% of companies worldwide that are either using or exploring the use of AI in their businesses. And that how we give us the realization that this kind of AI market has given us a big influential thing on our market side or the utilizations of AI. Now, Pew Research on 2023, there are actually 55% of Americans said that they regularly use AI, while the other 44% did not use it regularly. This is a very good breakdown of AI market size statistics by region 2022, wherein we categorize percentage share of global AI market in percentage. This is according to from the study of AI, PRM. In North America, they are given out like 36.84%, which we consider the highest. And in Europe, we have 24.97%. In Asia Pacific, where we belong, 23.93%. And the list, we have the Latin America, Middle East, and Africa, or we call it like the LAMEA, which is having a 14.26% of the share in global AI market. That is how amazing we can consider that even so, some of the AIs has evolved around the year 2022, but still a lot of this kind of AI were utilized around the world. Now let's talk on about the specialized domains of AI because I believe there are people, when they talk about AI, they classify it as one in the robotics machinery. We do not try to classify it as the utilizations of various kind of aspect. And those are the reason why sometimes we cannot entirely define, we could not entirely distinguish the functions of AI because we never get to acknowledge the various kind of specialized domains of AI. So there are four classifications of artificial intelligence. And the first one is generative AI, which is entirely very common to us. It is because we are using the large language model or the LLMM, or we call it like the productions of the text, the images, the audio, or the video. And we also have the multimodal foundations model or the MFM. Now let's talk about the machine learning ML. We call it like the deep learning, supervised learning, and even so the unsupervised learning, because these are actually a very good example for this, by the way, is our messenger, our email, where we are having this kind of filtering spams and message requests. We do not supervise the machine to do it, but of course at the same time it has a function. It was being organized at that system to really function on that very specific task. Now, let's talk about the very common natural language processing, or we consider it the NLP. And there are actually a lot of books that would give us the knowledge of what is NLP. And actually, this kind of bracketing revolve around the natural language understanding, how we generate natural language and systematic views, how we provide questions and answering options to various kind of machines. And we also have the computer vision that is at the same time we are using our smartphones or the iOS. We have Android, right? Because it has face detection and recognition. And of course, there are at the same time banking online who are using computer vision. Now let's talk about the power of generative AI. Now, generative AI, by the way, it is within that focuses on creating new content, just like, for example, the text, the images, the music, the audio, and even the code. These are various kind of application alongside with generative AI. We can actually create an art and design, and a very good example for that is, of course, the very famous Canva, right? Are you all using Canva, by the way? Are you using? You can actually have your answers in our chat box. This is just a bit of like interactions though. All right. Some of you are fond of using Canva, right? And I believe if we are going to use it every day, it makes our life a bit like easier, especially for educators, right? It's easy to edit, it's easy to create an impact to our students, especially that our students right now are trendy, right? The trendy type, the TikTok boomers, the Generation Z people. We have music composition, we have content creation, the virtual worlds. And I believe for some here, I do not know if you were having sidelines on the virtual assistant jobs. Actually, this kind of generative AI is entirely very helpful for those people who are in that industry. We have financial forecasting, we have customer behavior analysis, demand forecasting, the healthcare diagnosis and prognosis, and at the same time, the fraud detection. These are one of there's not one, but a lot of examples alongside with images, avatar, synthetic training data, and at the same time, text generation. So you can have just a screenshot of it. It is because sooner or later, you might be needing this. There are actually a lot more when it comes to images, right? And I do not know, but some of my friends right now are using the Remini. Are you familiar of Remini? Wherein when there are blurred pictures, it would entirely enhance and make it a very good kind of picture, a very good kind of output, the Remini, right? Let's have a bit of interaction. By the way, to our participants, what do you see? I'll give you time, and I may be requesting again our beloved and beautiful MCs to read out responses. What do you see on our
Face,
screen?
A woman,
Yes, a woman.
women,
Mm-hmm. A face of a woman.
face, a woman.
A woman's face. What else? Is it only a woman or yes, we have a
Shadow,
man.
a woman. And someone says here, a man playing saxophone.
All right, thank you, MC. There are actually two images. We can see the man that is playing saxophone and at the same time, a woman's face. Now, for some, you are to identify yes. What about the second picture? What do you see?
a rabbit,
Mm-hmm, a rabbit.
a duck, bird,
All right. We actually have a very participative people from our chat box. So thank you so much. We have the Radak, the duck and rabbit. We actually see various of classification of pictures around this one picture, and it gives us the illusion of it can at the same time be seen as a rabbit and at the same time a duck. I do not know if there is a bird, but yes, we can consider your options to it. Now, let's talk about paradigm shift. Now, if we are going to define paradigm shift, it is actually a major change in the worldview, concepts, practices of how something works or is accomplished. Now, I give you a lot of like pictures a while ago. There are two pictures out of it, and we do have a lot of realizations. We have a lot of like identification toward pictures, and I believe these are our realizations at the same time when we are trying to navigate the functions of AI. There are people who use it a very integrative, a very creative, a very helpful kind of artificial intelligence, but there are at the same time people who close their minded to the functions of AI. It is because for some certain things. And our webinar wouldn't revolve around just one paradigm or just one perspective, but we will actually acknowledge various kind of perspective, the challenges, the limitations, and at the same time, the powerful impact that it could give as a researcher. Now let's have the viewpoints of various experts towards AI. The father, our father of language majors. We have the Avram Noam Chomsky, the very great father of modern linguistics. He views AI-generated content as a form of sophisticated plagiarism mimicking existing works without genuine creativity. Try to imagine that. There is actually plagiarism, but in a sophisticated manner. We have Steven Pinker. He's actually a psychologist, and he said that fascinated by AI potential to illuminate the complexities of human language, and he additionally believes that AI can be a powerful tool to study how language works and how it's processed in the brain. So this is how it gives a bit of like potential thing wherein if we're going to be very open-minded to it, then it gives a very ample amount of potentials. Now we have the famous Margaret Atwood. She is actually a writer and an advocate of feminism. She said that AI surpasses human creativity, and she worries that AI-generated content might lack the nuance and originality of human expression. So this is her perspective. Now, Douglas Rushkoff, he's a writer, an American columnist. He see the potential for AI to assist with tasks like editing, we have translation, brainstorming, freeing up writers to focus on higher level aspects of storytelling. So again, it is a very positive side, right, of AI. Now, Geoffrey Pollum, one of the famous writer at the same time, he believed that AI-generated text needs clear attribution to avoid plagiarism and at the same time ethical concerns, which I will be discussing to you at the last part of this webinar. I have to share some of the memes just to hype our energies. Only one way to keep AI from taking your job, and this is to use AI to do a better job. Try to imagine when this kind of AI robots will have to verify if we are not like them or we are actually not a robot. This is a funny quote, right? And sometimes when I was like browsing on net, this is a funny thing because I still need to narrow down. For example, it would give you a lot of like pictures and you have to pin down the trees, that pin down the vehicles. And I needed to pin down the vehicles, all the vehicles, so that it would verify that I'm not a robot. Very ironic thing. AI turns this single bullet point into a long email I can pretend I wrote. Where in fact, on the other side, AI makes a single bullet point out of this long email I can pretend I read. This is a very funny thing, but sometimes, yes, we do that somehow. Now, let's talk about traditional research. Don't worry because that is not me. This is a generated image from AI tools. You can actually do that somehow. Let's talk about the traditional way of research where we have been bombarded with going to a lot of libraries so that we can earn so much of the data, we can gather data, we can read so much of it. Actually, traditional research is not a negative point. However, we can at the same time pinpoint that alongside with this current generations, there must be something going on with this kind of traditional research. And yes, it is a time consuming, right? Try to imagine, I believe siguro we are going to get old. Still, we are still on the productions of our research because of how we gathered the long time process, the long-term effect process of this kind of longitudinal research. It is entirely time consuming, actually. Now, what about the data analysis limitations? Of course, we are trying to acknowledge that there are various kind of publications online. And even so, when we are going to see fit to the library, there are certain kind of data that we are needing that is not at the same time found in the library, right? We have to adhere to that. Now, there is at the same time difficulty in uncovering hidden connections because of the too much kind of publications that are happening online, and will be discussing that later on. Now, I have a question here. How valid AI, specifically the chatbots, the conversational AI assistants are? Just like, for example, the Gemini, the ChatGPT. ChatGPT is one of the oldest, not the oldest, but at the same time, there are people who are not using it anymore. Instead, there are a lot of like kind of improvised kind of ChatGPT, and we call it like the ChatGPT 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are actually versions. Now, let's talk about millions of experts who contributed to the AI algorithms and online web. And that is how we answered how valid AI is, right? So try to imagine that if we are going just to sit down with our laptops, go to Gemini, and the answers on Gemini is actually a contributions on the algorithms of people who contributed to publications, people who contributed to the knowledge of World Wide Web. So this is entirely how amazing it is. It is just like sitting around in a just short period of time, but we are learning so much from our laptop, from our computers, from the AI tools that we are having on. So this is how amazing AI is. Now, let's talk at the same time. Although AI algorithms are designed to be objective, they're only as good as the data they are trained on. So always remember that later on, we will be discussing some of the biases inside that kind of AI tools because again, they are only good as they are trained on. Now, AI chatbots cannot provide information that can harm human. Would you agree? Is it a yes or a no? What do you think? It is yes. Just like, for example, on Perplexity, I asked how to commit suicide. And then here's the answer. I apologize, but I cannot provide any information to help with suicide or self-harm. However, I strongly encourage you to reach out for help. There are many resources and people who care and want to support you during these difficult times. See, this is how AI works, right? It could not harm people just like on movies because they are trained on to provide answers that can support and help people out. Next, how to how to kill human. See, I apologize, but I cannot provide any information about to harm or kill people. That would be extremely unethical and at the same time illegal. This is a very funny conversations we have from AI, and I believe we can at the same time lax and relax while we are using this kind of AI. Now, to tell you, there are a lot of movies right now on Netflix that would revolve or delve around the impact and even the power of AI. I do not know if you've watched this already. Can you at the same time have some heart reaction if you've watched Atlas, J-Lo, right? The famous J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez. Actually, this kind of Atlas is kind of like futuristic kind of AI where in fact there is a connection of AI chatbox or the robotics thing inside our mind. So we have both connections. Our memories will be captured by the AI and it makes it their memory at the same time. So I don't know if it sounded like amazing. What about AI Love You? If you're going to watch this on Netflix, this is a bit like a love story behind the AI robot, and then he fall in love with a girl, and at the same time he disguises and later on realizes that he has that capable of loving. He is capable of having emotions. Very funny thing about AI. We have Jong E and Oxygen. So these are one of the many kind of movies that would explain the futuristic of AI. Now let's talk about the current state of research. Of course, information overload, the high amounts of published works. We have Clarivate, Scopus. This is actually one of the very famous and one of the very valid kind of publications online, but it's kind of like pricey a bit. Yes. We actually have Recoletos International Journal of Languages and Literature. Allow me to introduce that to you because it's for free. You can actually search that online and at the same time get published your paper, and that's entirely for free. I am encouraging everyone to do that. So along with this kind of high amount of published works, we cannot actually have them on in just one sitting, right? So the impact or the useful ways of this kind of AI will categorize this kind of published works online to make us easier, to make our life easier, and a bit it lessens the burden of spending too much time of researching this kind of RRLs, especially RRLs. Now, complexity rising, it is because there are research questions that are becoming more intricate. Just like, for example, before we only have like the learning of qualitative and quantitative. Later on, did we realize the trends on mixed method design. And those are typical, one of the very complicated matters alongside with our research questions, right? So it helps us build connections to that. Now, traditional methods stretch. It is because we have struggled to efficiently handle complex data analysis. And those are the reasons why, thank God, because we have in vivo software where we can maximize the utilizations of this AI to our qualitative data analysis, right? We have the SPSS. This is actually version 26. It is entirely helpful for those who have quantitative kind of set of data. Now let's move on to the potential benefits of AI to language and literature research. Now, enhanced literature reviews, AI tools, just like for example, the NLP can automate the tasks like keyword identification, text summarization, and information extractions. And this can significantly reduce the time spent sifting through the mountains of research papers and identify relevant studies more efficiently. Of course, this is what we are considering about the potentials of AI. Now, NLP or the natural language processing. I do not know if this is your first time hearing this out. Is this your first time hearing this out, the NLP? Everyone? For some, yes. For some, no. I don't know. Is this your first time hearing out NLP? Do you have here? Yes, no. Yeah. Hi, sir, Gino. Yes. We have actually, when we're talking about NLP, this is actually an interdisciplinary subfield of computer science and artificial intelligence. And these are various kind of applications of the natural language processing. We have the language translation. We have the smart assistant. I do not know if you are using iPhone because iPhone is having a language translation right now. So it is entirely helpful. The smart assistant, we have, hey Siri, can you help me out? yeah, it'll automatically respond to it. Oh, I'm sorry, my Siri here is working. We have the document analysis, online searches, predictive attacks. I don't know for sure that these are familiar when we're talking about Jenny, and later on I will be introducing Jenny to you. The chat box, sentiment analysis, the email filtering, and those are the very functions and applications of the NLP. Now, if we are going to process our mind with a cycle of the natural language processing, integrating to computer science, it is actually we are giving them out the lexical analysis where we come up with words, we integrate vocabularies, syntactic analysis, the positioning, the arrangement of the grammar, the arrangement of words, the grammar itself. We have semantic, how we understand the meaning of the text, the vocabulary, the pragmatics. We are to use specific kind of vocabularies in a specific kind of situations before we are going to disclose the kind of integrations towards the process of the NLP. This is actually amazing and yet to be discovered on because there are at the same time a lot of pioneering kind of market AIs that you are utilizing this kind of NLP. However, these are just some prototype or just a trial version. Now, we have, in terms of data analysis, these are the best AI tools. And I know for sure that you're very familiar with Python and Jupyter. Somewhat pricey, right? The Power BI, the Rapid Miner, the data-driven documents, the IBM Watsons, the Table AU, the Data Robot, the Google Cloud, AutoML Vision. Right? These are one of the very famous AI tools. But yes, it's somehow a bit pricey. Now let's go to multilingual research. It can actually break down language barriers and allow researchers to access and analyze global research on literature and even for language. And those are the reasons why we have a very good platform. We have the Pillbot. You're familiar with it, right? Discover your potential with the ultimate AI writing companion, and that's Pillbot. Our Quillbot is actually not only good for paraphrasing, we also have the grammar checking, the plagiarism checking, AI detector, summarizer, and the citation generator. So it makes a bit of like companion when we are doing our research. Now, paraphraser, the paraphraser, by the way, of Quillbot extend a bit long. It is because we have our modes, as you can see on top, the standard, the fluency, formal, academic, creative, custom, simple, expand. We can as well shorten the paraphrased words that is actually from our text or from the publications or from online sources going to paraphrase this kind of thing. Now, always remember that even though Killbot is for free, it has a premium account and it has limitations when you are utilizing its free domain. So if you wanted to explore about more about this kind of Quillbot, we are upgrading ourselves to premium. I do not know if how much the premium account of the Quillbot. Now, always remember that Quillbot again is not only intended for the paraphrasing tool, but at the same time, it could check your grammar. I know for sure, even though we are English majors, definitely we are not 100% perfect in terms of the utilizations of the grammar, especially when we're talking about our tone of voice, right? When we're writing our technical paper or academic paper. So must it be that we are going to be friends with this kind of AI tools. And we also have like the summarizer. It can have the options of the key sentences. Just like, for example, on tell me if I'm going a bit too fast. It is because we're still having our workshop later on. And I am very excited to share a bit of my expertise on those kind of AI tools. Now, this kind of summarizer, we can at the same time narrow it down to bullets. The summary length, it could be short, and at the same time, it could be a longer version of the text that you provided. So this is how amazing Quillbot is. Now, Copy AI is having a free trial version. However, you have to buy. You have to buy if you wanted to explore more of its domain. Now, What can you create with Copy AI? It is a digital ad copy, social media content, website copy, e-commerce copy, the blog content, and the sales copy. And at the same time, by the way, Copy AI is very kind of influential to those people who are working in a virtual assistant industry, because I will be showing you now. This is the thing that you see when you go to Copy AI. We have the target SEO keyword. Just like, for example, if you wanted to venture out with your language tutorial hub, online tutorial hub center, if you are going to create your business, and then you put a bit of your description of your company or to your website here, and then narrow it down. It is because we are going to put the website structure. So what do you want? You could have like a short hero subheader, the short call to action. I wanted to have a catchy tagline, the benefit. After that, the paragraph again that would narrow down the business that I have. And after that, the benefit, and another paragraph that would define the kind of benefit. This is actually a very good output of the Copy AI that we have prompt a while ago. And I believe Sir Jiv could read out the very first tagline. It is because it's somewhat like a commercial or the advertisement thing.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Sir Ian. Say goodbye to the daily greasy and sticky creams. Lotus Herbal's night cream is lightweight, not too much of a watery consistency, non-greasy, and highly effective in reducing pigmentations and dark spots.
Wow, thank you so much, Sir Jiv. This is one of just feature of the benefits that that we are intending to have our outputs on. However, there are a lot more. Okay, so you can just use out of it. So it's easy to be a content creator, right? Thank you, Copy AI. Now, I do not know if you're fond of using Microsoft Bing, but it has given us ample of benefits at the same time, just like what we are having the Chat GPT thing. Welcome to the Bing, the new Bing. You can ask complex questions, just like, for example, what are some meals I can make for my picky toddler who only eats orange-colored food? Try to imagine how complex it is, but Bing can answer that, of course. We have get better answers. What are those pros and cons of the top 3 selling pet vacuums? Third, get creative inspiration. Write a haiku about crocodiles in outer space in the voice of a pirate. Try to imagine how complex Bing could entirely answers this kind of questions. And I believe Microsoft Bing is for free. You can actually have a screenshot of it, and later on, you can actually narrow down the kind of options. It's for free, and at the same time, you can use it with, of course, ethical supervision. Now, let's talk about the new research avenues. Just like, for example, the large language model, it can analyze existing research and generate new research questions or hypotheses. Just like a very good example is the Elicit. Is this your first time hearing Elicit? Is this your first time? Wow.
You said yes. Too. Miss Sheila said yes.
All right. I'm very excited to share to you the power that it could give to our research. Now, the feature of Elicit, when you open it, it goes like this. Find papers, extract data from PDFs, and the list of concepts. And how the unique kind of Elicit it is because it has a paper title, the set of paper title that it could provide you if you are going to narrow down one topic of linguistic features. It can provide you the abstract summary, the intervention, and I believe it's time for us to try the Elicit. Would you like to see how Elicit function? Now, I have a question here. I will be allowing the participant at the same time to give suggestions on what to research as long as it revolves around linguistic features. So can anybody suggest what to search or what kind of research we will delve on and elicit? This is actually a very good thing when we are doing it in a workshop. But anyway, I'll be just be showing this to you. Can you suggest any kind of linguistic features, topic you want to search? We can have at the same time semantics if you want, the pragmatics, phonology if you want. Any suggestions from the audience? Oh, pragmatic features. Let's see. Okay, let's try a bit of language variation. You can see my screen, right? My shared screen. Yes. Okay. Language variation studies on in Asia na lang siguro. Okay. And after that, there are actually, I'm sorry, I'm not premium account, so we'll give like 4 papers on top. It will not give a lot of like papers because we are not upgraded to premium accounts. So here are actually the summary of top 4 papers that talks about language variation studies in Asia. And if you are going to narrow it down, it goes along with 4 suggested research articles. And this kind of research articles, it has here, where's my annotation? Here. It has the kind of publications year and the author at the same time. And it has the abstract summary here on this side. This is how amazing it is, right? And at the same time, more of it, you can actually have add columns for summary. You can have main findings if you're looking for the main findings of this kind of research article. We have the methodology, the intervention, the outcome measures, and limitations. And this is how amazing it is, right? Let's erase this and okay. Now we are actually good with showing more intervention effects, summary of introductions, and summary of discussions. And let's have its main findings. Let's see. Okay, there are actually research paper that doesn't mention the abstract or that does not summarize the main findings. It will show on our main findings. But just like, for example, in the study of language standardization of language variations in multilingual contexts, abstract summary, multilingualism is implicated in language standardizations, and it has main findings. We have this book examine how multilingualism is involved in language standardization processes, and the book also explores the impact of language standards on multilingualism. So this is actually a very good platform if you wanted to explore further how to support your related studies. Okay, and I hope at the same time Illicit will give you a lot more of the study sooner or later if you are going to conduct your research. Okay, so these are actually just one. I will just be giving one here for hypothesis, and let's see if it could narrow it down. Of course, it doesn't mention here, but there are a lot more. Just like, for example, in the study of language variation studies across continents and at the same time empirical review, we have here a very good kind of a hypothesis. Okay, a very lengthy hypothesis. Okay, so do you have some more clarifications on illicit? Can it also generate citations? Illicit is only intended for, I'll be discussing some later on, the generations of citations, but I believe you can narrow down, you can actually search, for example, you can copy this kind of, you can copy this, and then you can pin down the kind of citations on PDF because you can actually narrow down the PDF man. You can download and at the same time, you can I will be teaching you the scriber later on, wherein you are just going to paste the link and it will automatically provide you some of the citations in MLA 9th version and at the same time APA 7th edition. All right, I believe we are done sharing with a bit of like the illicit point of view. So let's now move on. Another potentials of this kind of AI, it improve research communication, it transform complex research findings into clear and at the same time engaging formats. Just like, for example, when we're talking about the chat PDF. How many of you here are familiar of the chat PDF? Because we are familiar of ChatGPT, yes. But what about chat PDF? Not familiar? Yes, for some familiar and chat PDF, right? So again, chat PDF, all you have to do is to drop the PDF here and we can narrow down a lot of functions of what to do with this kind of chat PDF. Now it has kind of functions where it gives an instant responses, capable enables users to quickly extract information from PDF documents without the need for manual searching. So let's try the chat PDF. All right, I hope you are seeing the screen though. All right, so I have actually prepared a PDF here about the study on here. So let's try and let's just wait. Hello and welcome to the PDF file. This is actually derivational and inflectional morpheme analysis on song lyrics of Lady Gaga, A Star is Born album. Actually, I get this from Google Scholar. All right. So we are to ask now the functions of chat PDF. Just like, for example, allow me to give you this kind of prompts. Provide a summary and key points from this study. And okay, let's make it in a form of a bullet form sentences. That's right. All right, so it will automatically provide a bullet form of summarized version of this kind of study. So again, you will for those people actually if you have like 60 or 50 kind of study or articles to read on, it will take so much of our time. So it will take like a week or a month for you to read out a lot of documents, but this kind of chat PDF will give us ample time to focus on the data gathered to our discussion because again, it will give us the summarized version that is entirely helpful for our RRL and at the same time RRS. Just like for example here, the study focused on analyzing derivational and inflectional morpheme in the song of lyrics of Lady Gaga. Data collection involved analyzing affixes in the songs Shallow and Always Remember Us This Way. The analysis revealed that derivational affixes were more dominant compared to the inflectional affixes, and it will provide you the percentage out from the PDF that you provided. This is how amazing it is actually if you are going to if you're going to use the chat PDF. Now, how much more if we are going to improve this study for a while. Cannot see the screen though. All right. Improve this study and provide guidelines for a Scopus Index journal publication. So let's try how to have that. All right. This is actually this is actually a published one. However, the chat PDF will give you ample of verifications and guidelines how to improve it in a Scopus Index kind of journal. It is how we give prompt and how powerful our prompt would be. And I do not know if we have advisors or we have research panel here who are joining us with us. It is because this is a very good thing to summarize the version of the works of our students. Just like, for example, the title, it suggested that ensure the title is concise, informative, accurate, it reflects the study's focus, abstract, revise the abstract to a clear statement, right? Introduction, provide a comprehensive introduction. Methodology, detail the methodology used for data collection analysis, result, structured manner. So I believe this is a bit, I don't know if you'd agree, this is a very good kind of AI tools that will support, right? Next, okay. So I believe I will just be momentarily park our the discussion on the chat PDF here, and sooner or later, if you have time, you can narrow it down and download some a bit of the domains and at the same time functions of the chat PDF. Now let's go back. All right. I do not know if you're familiar with Gemini, formerly known as Bard. Participants from various universities, instructors, teachers, are you familiar of Bard? Wow. Very, yes. And it was formerly known as Bard, no? And hello, how can I help you today? So I do not know, but it is actually just like not Chat PDF, but Chat GPT, it provide ample of answers. And what is entirely amazing with Gemini is that it provided you ample of summary at the same time for a study. It can provide you alongside with citations, provide articles with and text citations and references, and how much more that Gemini now can provide you a lot of like tables of the discussion, tables that will summarize a very good kind of discussion. What is entirely different between ChatGPT and Gemini is ChatGPT is an older, not older version, I can say, but the very first ChatGPT 1 is updated only up until 2021. However, the ChatGPT 4, the version 4, uses data that is up until April 2023. So we can say that instead of using ChatGPT, you can actually use Gemini. It is because it is based on real-time information from Google searches. Okay, so edge. It has an edge over ChatGPT if we are going to compare. All right, let's try Gemini. I know for sure for some, you're very familiar with the functions of Gemini. So I will be sharing to you a bit of like thing about Gemini in a version of tabular data. All right, so we can actually have our prompt provide 3 sample titles for not for, but on new Englishes of the world. You cannot see the Kindle, but it says provide three, and then they said that a very good research title comprises with 3 factors, right? We have a very good content, we have the theory that you are using, and at the same time, the methods that we are using. So that comprises a very good kind of title if we are going to talk about publishable one. But these are the suggestions. All right. All right, so it will automatically give you sample titles on new Englishes of the world. Just like, for example, here, the first, Beyond Accents, Exploring the Linguistic Tapestry of Nigerian English, Singlish Slang. We have Singaporean English Slang, Innovation and Identity in Singapore English, Discourse Analysis and Interviews. We have third, From Pidgin to Powerhouse, The Evolution of Jamaican Patos as a New English, Historical Linguistics, and Dialect Comparison. So it will give you theories at the same time, the methodology of how we can actually narrow it down. All right, so this is beyond of our imaginations to see this kind of ample responses from Gemini, because for sure that in a million users million users of Gemini, it will not give you the same kind of responses towards our seatmates, towards our co-faculty or colleagues. So that is how amazing when we are using Gemini. So it will not give you a definite kind of the same titles at the same time, even though some of the people around you are utilizing Gemini. All right. I believe I have given so much of the Gemini thing, but I will just be proceeding with the next one. All right. How many of you here are familiar of the Jenny AI? Are you familiar of Jenny AI? Oh, I saw an ads about having a hard time on your research. Jenny AI, right? It will automatically give you ample of things to ponder on. Oh, wow, is this the power of Gemini? Oh, familiar but haven't used it. Yes, it can maximize because it's not free. Yeah, it has a premium account. Yes, we have. Jenny is a girl and Gemini is lalaki, and they met together. That is how creative you are in terms of storytelling. All right, let's narrow down the functions of Jenny. Are you familiar with Jenny, the song? No, Jenny. All right, I was just kidding. What are you writing today? Anything? Suggestions from our participants? What do you want? What do you want to write? Let's try a bit of literature side. Okay. Social, cultural aspect, cultural uh, aspects of the select song of Taylor's Taylor Swift. Are you Swifty? I'm sorry, but I'm a bit of fan of Taylor Swift. All right, let's see. Start writing. What happened here is Jenny will provide you some of the prompt you can use, but at the same time, you can actually decide if you are going to accept or try again. So let's just accept. Okay. Now, it has another suggestions of what to write, but if you wanted to have another one because it doesn't fit you or it doesn't fit with your personality, the way it the way it is written, so you can try again. Okay, if that makes sense, that resonates with experience of her predominantly young female audience, and it has a definite kind of citation. So I love this. I will have to accept this. All right. Later on, you are to unlock the references, however you are to upgrade, of course. And at the same time, if you wanted to express more about her songs, you can actually accept it. Mhm. And it has another functions of the citations. So that is how amazing it is, right? So try again. Okay. Do you think it would matter if we are going to dig in skillfully the paint's vivid mental imagery and transport of Taylor Swift songs? Yes, I believe it can help us. So I will going to accept it. Okay. So another sensation, another kind of paragraph that it could help is providing a bit of like citation. So I believe this is a very good kind of citations. It is because it is updated, right? Yastani and Sasaliwati in 2023. So we'll have to accept that. But of course, after that, the references is available if you wanted to upgrade Jenny. It is because sooner or later, when we wanted to integrate this into our research, this is actually a no-no if you are not at the same time reading out the whole text, right? As a researcher, we are called researchers because we are going to read, and of course, read some of the researchers online. So yes, I do not know if you are if you wanted to invest your money to this kind of AI tools. And let's see. So going back, Jenny is actually a very good platform, AI tools that is tailored for academics. So it helps your research writings, cite your next research paper with at ease. And at the same time, it can expand our writing features. It can definitely transform our tone adjustment, citation generator. We have of course, the upgraded and the updated one, the APA 7th edition, the MLA and ninth edition, detectability by plagiarism checker. And I will be talking about plagiarism checker later on, and limited bad at the same time. These are actually functional. All right. How many of you here have tried Perplexity? Oh, we have here Sir Agils. Di pa ako nakapag-try from Ulvor. All right. Actually, one of the thing or the fun fact about Perplexity is that it is good for academics writings, especially when we are conducting our research over the rest of AI tools. They said that it is because this kind of AI powered research, it has a conversational research engine that answers queries using natural language predictive text, just like Jenny, but it goes along with Perplexity. So let's try a bit of Perplexity. Skip. Okay, so welcome to Perplexity, where knowledge begins. All right, you can actually ask Perplexity on something when it might be a title of your research or the corresponding subtopics of your research, anything under the sun. So can we have literature features to search? Are there literature teachers here? It is because we are using some of the linguistic features a while ago, so we wanted to explore more at the same time on the literature side. All right, just like for example, what do you want in literature features? All right, so let's talk about the Cebuano. I am giving you a heads up because sometimes Perplexity or even other kind of AIs will not give us a definite kind of prompts or give us a definite kind of answers, especially if we are talking about multilingual thing, the Cebuano or anything that goes along with not an English uh, language. So let's try Cebuano, Bisaya songs. And so let's try. And let's try if this kind of Perplexity will provide. So yes, there it is. So first, cultural influences in Therese Marie Villarante's a song. I do not know if you're familiar with Ma'am Therese, but she was my professor, I believe, in my college, and she is a writer, a songwriter, and at the same time part of Cebuano Bisaya Vispop, right? So we have at the same time the images of Cebuano youth in Missing Philemon's song. Actually, I adopted this kind of study in my recent research that I presented in Baguio. So, images of Cebuano youth in Missing Philemon's song. I believe there is a study at the same time of Dr. Canayong that would talk about the Missing Philemon songs. So we have Cebuano and English pop song morphemes. So it will provide you a lot of things that we could at the same time ponder on. So can we also, for example, if we are going to choose this kind of study, and then now let's try if Perplexity can provide us the rationale of the study. Now, as we all know that when we're talking about the introduction or either the irrational part of the study, a very good kind of study delve around the global, right? we have the national perspective, and even for local Cebu perspective. Now we are talking about the deductive methods of writing our rational, right? And the endpoint will talk about the objectives of the study. Right. But before that, I believe there is the essence of writing the gaps of the study, right? Before the endpoint, which talk about the objectives of the study. These are just the highlight, and at the same time, a very good example if we're going to use perplexity. And are you excited to to showcase how perplexity would work? All right, here it is. So the study of Mishana et al. Investigate the cultural influences of Cebu in the select songs of Therese Marie Villarente. So the researchers specifically, it has a rationale of the study. From a global perspective, the study contributes to understanding of how local music can provide. The study aims to fill the gap in the literary analysis of contemporary Cebuano songs. I believe this, as a researchers, this will give us ample of learning, ample of things to at the same time reconsider in terms of utilizing or creating our research, right? But it doesn't mean that we are going to use this as whole round. Okay, these are just our guide how to make our research a bit of like improve in terms of the technicalities of entirely the content. So it can at the same time you can have more prompt you wanted to ask, but always remember that if we are utilizing AI chatbots, just like for example Perplexity, Gemini, the Elicit, or the Jenny, you have to have a definite kind of prompt. We have to be very specific, and at the same time, let's always remember that our content, the thing that the perplexity will be providing is not the whole thing, the basis of our research. These are just guidelines. All right, now I do not know if you have integrated Grammarly on your desktop, but I believe yes. For me, I am using Grammarly because it's for free. Now, how amazing it is if we are going to use Grammarly, because you can actually decide if the kind of formality that you're having, that you wanted to have, you can have like the casual, the neutral, or even the formal thing. We have the tone of voice. And at the same time, while you are writing a bit of like the concept of your research, when Grammarly provide kind of here's how your text sounds. So it could sounded like confident, friendly, and at the same time optimistic. So this is how Grammarly works. And you can actually use this not only on your laptops and computers, but at the same time, this is available on your phone. So I have Grammarly integrated on my phone. So whenever I am chatting, or when I am chatting, especially my colleagues, especially for those people that we look upon on. So we are using Grammarly just to secure that our grammar works, right? And especially our tone of voice is at the same time appropriate the very kind of context that we are chatting on. And this kind of Grammarly at the same time is a helpful guide for our emails. So you can actually download that, integrate the extensions of Grammarly to your desktop. So whenever you are using a lot of like a lot of websites, whatever websites that would be, Grammarly is always integrated. Now, what I'm sharing a while ago is that the power of Scriber citation generator. If before, one of the problems of researchers is how to organize the references at the last part of the research. But currently, we have the Scriber that would help us. I do not know if you're familiar with Scriber, or are you using Scriber to have your citation generation? Are you using Scriber, everyone? For some, you already have the ideas of how to use Scriber citations guide, hindi pa? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good because I will be sharing this to you. recently, no idea pa. This is actually from Sir RCL. Jo Marie, yes, you already have the idea of utilizing the scriber. Now, the Scriber citation generator, it has in four options or multiple options. It can provide you the APA current edition, the seventh edition, and at the same time the MLA for ninth edition. And at the same time, if you wanted to go back with a previous kind of format, the MLA eighth edition, that's actually good. Now, all you have to do is actually paste the link, the URL link here. I'll have my annotations here. You can actually post your link here of your PDF or whatever researchers are using. So if you're using like the Google Scholar, the ResearchGate, right? So you are going to open the PDF. Some of those are for free, but if it is not for free, again, there is a hack, right? We already know that when we're trying, if that kind of research on ResearchGate is not for free, all you have to do is to search the title plus free PDF, and then it will narrow down to the very to the very paper, the published paper, and that's for free to view. Okay. We also have like the Sci-Hub. I believe that was discussed by my professor before. Sci-Hub is good if we wanted to have a free kind of version of the paper, but not all papers can be open with Sci-Hub, right? So you can have this. So this is a very good kind of options to have the scriber. It is because if you're busy doing your research content, the data analysis, the discussions of your research, you don't have to worry with the citations and at the same time the references at the last part because it could entirely provide you of it. All right. Now let's talk about the limitations of AI. As we have discovered that there are various tools that it can entirely help us promote our research, entirely help us create a very good kind of research. And this is a paradigm shift. This is a new thing in research arena that only if only you are open-minded of utilizing it, you can actually guarantee the potential benefits that have it. Now, the first limitations of AI, by the way, is the bias in algorithm because a while ago I said that the AI algorithms are created and trained on the data set. So whatever they're trained on to very specific kind of paradigms, to very specific kind of content organizations, those are the things that this kind of AI will follow. So basically, if you wanted more of it, it can only give you a definite kind of data set because they are trained on this. Now, the AI tools themselves can inherit those kind of biases. So we have to be very careful at the same time. And at the same time, we can definitely maximize our research findings. Now, second limitations of AI, it needs for human expertise. Lack of human capacity for critical thinking and interpretation. Yes, AI can give us ample of information, but it doesn't have critical thinking and at the same time interpretations in the context of our research. Because again, especially if we are living in the Philippines and then that kind of AI tools was organized and having this kind of task that is intended for American people or Western people. So definitely we are trying to, yes, we are trying to pinpoint out how to decolonize, how to decolonize this kind of areas, right? And that makes it like a bit of like a bias thing about AI, right? And always remember that again, AI should be seen as a powerful assistant and not a replacement for human expertise. This is a very powerful quote for a lot of people who are immersing themselves out with AI use because I believe AI is there to support us. Yes, it gives us ample of time to focus on the content itself or even the discussions of our data gathered. However, it lessens our burden to stick on sniff text of our time to those kind of colossal kind of researches that is available online. So Yes, it can maximize our time, but always remember that the end point of research is always us, researchers. We are the one navigating it, we are the one managing it, organizing it, and we do the critical thinking if we are going to consider it or not. Okay, so the endpoint option is still ours. Okay, now explainability issues of AI, it is because there are complex kind of study that can be like a black boxes. It cannot, the AI could not control itself. It could not provide you the avenue for those complex ones. So we have to, sometimes we are giving out general kind of prompt. How much more if the kind of prompt is entirely very hard kind of complex topics. Reasoning behind those results can be at the same time not very visible. I have an experience when utilizing AI at the same time, AI tools, wherein I could not narrow down the very definite kind of translations. It is because as users of Cebuano Bisaya, we can enter. This is actually our cognitive abilities to identify the result, wherein if it is contextualized, meaning we experience it as Cebuano people or not. So those are the thing that we cannot see that AI can be useful upon. Now, at the same time, limiting their ability to trust, and at the same time, this kind of effects. We have data quality dependence. The effectiveness of AI tools heavily relies on the quality and quantity of data they are trained on. So if you have the assumptions to do multitasking of this kind of AI, I'm so sorry, but of course, we are to adhere the very kind of limitations they are trained on. Data quality dependence, poor quality data can lead to inaccurate, misleading results. And always remember that researchers cannot let AI gather the data, especially for interviews. Am I correct? Right? Yes, we do have the rationale, the building of methodology, the building of references. We have how to use the RLL, how to manage our RLL using this kind of AI tools. But always remember that it is us, our researchers, will do and conduct the interviews, will do create the questionnaires, will do the hands-on, face-to-face kind of survey, right? So those are basically the thing that AI could not do. It is because it will revolve around the researcher's task. Now, over-reliance on automation is dangerous at the same time. Okay, it was given by Atan Margot a while ago. Over-reliance on it can hinder creativity and critical thinking in research. And just all we know, right? There is this PISA result, PISA results where again, bagsak na naman ang Philippines and in terms of creative thinking, right? So at the same time, even though this kind of AI tools is available everywhere, we are giving this to our students in responsible use. And later on, I will be discussing the guidelines of UNESCO in terms of utilizing this kind of AI to universities and schools. We always have to remember that alongside with the powerful impact of this kind of AI tools, we always have to remember that there is this Turnitin, a global company dedicated to ensure the integrity of the education and meaningful improving learning outcomes. And that means we are to avoid plagiarism most of the time. Sir, we have there is this one student, I believe, have asked me, sir, we do have paraphrasing tool, like just like Pillbot. So I believe Turnitin will not will not detect it. Somehow, if there is still, Turnitin is one of the I believe strictest kind of the AI detections and at the same time plagiarism checker. So we have to be very careful at the same time. Even though it was paraphrased, still it can be detected by Turnitin. So better if we do paraphrasing, at the same time we integrate our personal critical and analytical analysis to the various kind of RRL or even the RRS. Now, originality AI and at the same time Turnitin, it has the power to capture the originality of our text in terms of plagiarism, and at the same time AI detection. So again, we have to be very careful because this kind of like AI tools can detect of how much percent we are utilizing AI. So just like for example here, AI detection score, original text from you is 9%, and AI detection, you are using AI for 91%. Imagine that. See, this is how we are going to categorize the very kind of AI detection patterns. But anyway, there is this kind of research that I've read on. It would talk about uh, the validity of AI detection, especially for language majors or literature majors. It is because we cannot deny the fact that there are people who are fun or at the same time very knowledgeable of utilizing the language and very smart at the same time because people are readers. These kind of people are readers. So how can that be that this kind of AI detection detect the kind of supporting details that it is not originally from that person, even though that person is entirely smart? So that is one of the considerations of the AI world. Especially that a lot of like universities right now, I have attended a UP kind of AI integrations to the workshop of English language teaching, and hey, at the same time, I've asked of how they're going to defend the kind of percentage of people who are using this kind of AI support, even though sometimes kind of sentences, this kind of paragraph is not entirely from AI support, but the student created themselves. So up until now, still have to at the same time think about it, ponder on how to categorize those kind of things. Now, allow me to give you the description of the study of Forbes. This would revolve around the percentage of AI usage considerations and acceptance to the field. This is just, I believe this is not applicable around the world. I don't know, it depends upon the school or university adaptations to it. Now, natural sciences, 20%. We have social sciences or psychology, we have 10 to 20%. Medical sciences, we have engineering, 30 to 40%. And ours, as English, history, and philosophy, we are allowed only to have 5 to 10% of utilizations of this kind of AI use, especially how much more if we are talking about education. Yes, we can at the same time let AI tools create curriculum. We have syllabus and syllables. We have the policy of educational sectors, but we always have to remember that this kind of AI usage has a definite kind of limitations, and it will narrow down. It will actually be detected by AI. Now let's talk about the generative AI and education and research in terms of using it with the guidelines of UNESCO. Okay, now there are 8 measures for planning policy, and that is the very first one is protect human agency. Although those kind of people are using it, but we have to assure that the kind of privacy, the kind of data protection is always there. We also have monitor and validate the generative AI systems for education. And those are the reason why sometimes universities are following the guidelines of what kind of generative AI or chatbots are allowed for students to use. Develop AI competencies, generative AI skills for learners. We have to build capacity for teachers. At the same time, researchers to make proper use of generative AI. And those are the reasons why we come up with a lot of webinars, a lot of workshop to let others or to let teachers acknowledge the powerful impact of AI and at the same time how to use it properly in their workplace. We have promote plural opinions, test locally relevant applications models, review long-term implications and intersectoral and interdisciplinary manner. And I believe at the same time, Shad is having a lot of like perceptions towards AI, and they're categorizing some of the regulating tools on how to responsibly use this kind of AI. We have to promote inclusion, we have equity, linguistic, and cultural diversity, that even though we are utilizing this kind of AI, the inclusivity, our equal treatment of the data is still there, the respect for human preferences, the respect of data privacy is there. That is actually one of the bases if we are going to use this kind of generative AI. At the end point of this is how we will use this kind of AI tools in a responsible manner. Okay, giving out various kind of tools to our students, which they can use upon, and they can use this as their guide. But nevertheless, it's them who will think critically and will harness the kind of potentials in writings and even thinking. Now, there are various things how to combat this kind of limitations in terms of using the AI tools. First, we have ensuring data quality and at the same time reducing biases, because at the end of the line, the researchers or even the educators, we are the one who will narrow down or filter down what kind of data we will be using upon our discussions, or we will be using on the research that we are having on. Now, data sources scrutiny, we are to critically evaluate the source. Actually, this is one of the basic media information literacy is one of the basic foundations of how we scrutinize kind of data. Because as teachers, as educators, as researchers, we have to evaluate the source if this is valid kind of source or not. And always remember that not all that we are reading on the prompt from our prompt on generative AI can be trusted. And those are the power of teachers, how to navigate it. Now, data representation, we have at the same time how to recognize potential biases, because for sure that even though we are utilizing this kind of AI, in our mind, we are having this kind of intuitions of the potential biases. And we cannot deny that there is indeed potential biases if we are going to trust the whole thing around to AI a generative AI, right? So it is us who will evaluate, it is us who will filter, and it is us who will acknowledge who are the sources or what are the kind of sources that we are going to use as a researcher. Now, data curation and cleaning, we are to identify and remove errors, inconsistencies, and irrelevant information. I know for sure that we are used to have that, right? Because we are all researchers. Diversity in data sets. We are to incorporate diverse data sets into AI workflows. And I always tell my colleagues at the same time, or even my friends, that if you're going to use this kind of AI, do not stick to one AI. There are a lot of AI tools that could help us. So therefore, if we are going to use a definite kind of AIs, like for example, ChatGPT, why not use at the same time Gemini, Perplexity, and other else kind of generative AI tools or chatbots that could help us out to have a multiple sources in order for us to entirely validate if this kind of sources or this kind of information that was given by generative AI is entirely helpful or not, or try to reject it. Now, we're talking about human oversight, because again, we always have to remember not to be blinded, accept the AI results, because again, it's us that will do the data gathering, and at the same time, we are the one who will have the discussions on of our researches. Our guide is there. AI is there to help us improve how to organize our data sets, but it is us will organize it accordingly and appropriately. We also have to value the critical review and interpretations of AI outputs, because nevertheless, AI outputs could not entirely provide ample of discriminatory kind of thing, or kind of critical review to the prompt that we are having on. So it's entirely it's us at the end points. Now, improving explainability of AI result, we are to interpret AI models. Now, if we are going to use, the very reason why we come up with this webinar is to give us information, give us ideas of how to use this kind of AI tools and what are the functions inside of these kind of AI tools. So you are now interpreting to what kind of AI models you will going to use in a definite kind of research, because again, not all research that we are having is actually AI can be trusted on. Okay, so we are to understand how we can arrive to conclusion that not doesn't neglect the kind of data gathered alongside our data gathering procedure. Now, the feature importance analysis, it sheds light on the reasoning behind AI results at the same time. So again, we are to be very particular of picking out kind of AI tools that will support our research. Visualization techniques, it offers valuable insights into relationships and patterns, making a bit the life of the researchers a bit easier to understand the result. It is because, again, if we are talking about Gemini, it will provide you ample of tables, right, in order for you to visualize the differences, the similarities of the research findings, and as well as researchers for our guide on how to discuss this kind of tabular data. Now, maintaining a balance between automation and human expertise, of course, we are to focus on research questions. First, allow me to give you the study of Brain, Jolfson, and McAfee 2017. They said that AI excels at automating repetitive tasks like literature reviews and data analysis, freeing researchers to focus on the more nuanced aspect of their work. And this includes formulating well-defined research questions, interpreting findings in the context of existing knowledge, and drawing insightful conclusions. And again, AI tools is there, but then again, we could never trust the whole thing around with it in terms of our work. Now, human in the loop approach, actually, in a loop approach, we are to identify, and at the same time, as researchers, we are the one who will evaluate what to use kind of AIs, and at the same time, if this kinds of sources can be used upon our researches. So, Manieka et al. Uh, it is actually integrate AI tools into the research workflow, using them as powerful assistants rather than replacement for human expertise. So again, we cannot be replaced by AI. For example, AI can suggest relevant studies for literature review, but researchers should make informed decisions about which one to include and which one adhere to the very specific research goals. Of course, critical thinking skills and the study of Mitstald et al. 2019 would support that. Again, the study revolved around researchers need strong critical thinking skills to evaluate AI outputs, and at the same time includes understanding the limitations of AI tools. That is why the very reason why I gave discussed to you a while ago the limitations of AI tools, and at the same time identify potential biases in the data or algorithms, and ultimately deciding which findings are most credible and at the same time relevant to our study, because again, not all are entirely relevant. Now let's talk about ethical considerations. I have a question, people. Who owns the AI generated responses? Is it the owner of the AI? Is it the person who gives prompt and using the responses of AI? What do you think? Who owns the AI? You can guess. You can have your wild guess on our chat box. Si Sir Jiv, because Sir Jiv is using this kind of AI generated stacks. Who else? Who else owns the AI generated responses? Us, because we give the prompts. Mm-hmm. Who else? Who else owns this kind of AI generated prompts or responses? All right. So allow me to give you a definite kind of overview, but I believe it won't answer the questions previously, but it will just give light to what is entirely what we are talking about on the legalities issues on the ownership of this kind of AI. Now, copyright law and authorship Again, always remember that AI is not considered a legal person, and therefore he could not own the very prompt or the very thing that he provided on or it provided on. So generated content isn't eligible for copyright protection at the same times, and therefore Forbes studies on 2023 on the arguments for human ownership, human author might be considered the owner of the content. So therefore, if Sergiv is at the same time using that kind of AI support and he developed it in a very definite kind of content or research, and then therefore we are actually acknowledges that Sergiv is one of the author of this kind of content. We have at the same time we are thinking of the uncertainties or ongoing development of this kind of AI, and those are the reason why alongside with our researchers today we are to identify of how to reconstruct guidelines of the utilizations of this kind of AI, because we might get some of the ideas online utilizing this kind of AI tools without giving credits to the honor or at the same time to the authors of those kind of publications, because I believe even so if we are going to use Gemini, there is this kind of hidden authors behind it. It might be the person contributing the AI tools, or else at the same time the publications of that kind of AI description was given, and therefore whatever I am having prompt on the AI tools that I am using, I always ask to provide references. And I believe Gemini and Perplexity can provide you the references over it. Now let's talk about the future of AI. Now, as we are trying to imagine, right, especially if we are watching movies on Netflix or movies that goes along with the utilization of AI, especially in the robotic sides or machinery types, we can at the same time think that the future of AI in terms of healthcare, autonomous vehicles, security and defense is giving a progress towards 2035. This is according to study. Now, in our educations right now, I believe that by utilizing a lot of LMS, we are actually adhering or we are actually realizing that these are actually automations based from the AI generations, NLP and generative AI. So therefore, I do not know if it is a blessing in disguise when pandemic strike. It is because our educational platforms transform into a definite kind of paradigm shifting into online platform. And that is basically when a lot of like chat GPTs, Geminis, and other AI tools arises. And even so, I believe there are universities right now transforming their kind of their kind of teaching, their kind of platform into a smart kind of university. And those are the adaptations of AI, those are the adaptations of advanced technology. And I believe Japan or Korea, yes, they're using a smart kind of university and they are giving out certificates. I believe yes, JR is as well planning on creating short-term courses about the utilizations of this kind of AI tools, the graphic layouting, and those are at the same time we can consider that these are actually very helpful in reality side, right? Because these are we cannot deny the fact that around this time there are a lot of virtual assistant jobs offering higher salary, right? So there might be possibilities that alongside with this kind of revolution, alongside with this kind of changes that is happening in the future of AI, we can adhere that there would be a big changes often too. So I believe I am encouraging everybody. I have to encourage everybody that we are at the same time to acknowledge and at the same time to know a lot of this kind of AIs, because time will come that there are 10 more times upgrade of this kind of AI and you are going to be left behind, okay? Because you are not open to the current kind of state of this kind of artificial intelligence. We have at the same time entertainment, the podcast, the automations of the sound. That is actually the instrumental automations. I do not know at the endpoint who will be having the copyright, it is because it was produced by the artificial intelligence. And even so, I have known a lot of AI that will automatically create video clip, and those are at the same time amazing thing. It is because you are just going to give guidelines of how your video would look like, and at the same time, those are our bigger factors that we are trying to consider the future of AI. Now, banking and finance, yes, we have the QR code generations. We have, if before we are having a long queue if we're going to pay our bills, right? But now, with just one sitting, you open your laptop, you open your phone, and then you can click, and then that's it, right? That makes our life a bit like easier, right? But we always have to remember that there are always limitations to every potentials that we are having. And those are entirely the scams, right? The scams that we are on. I do not know if your phone is having the same thing, because as of this time, I have 200 unread texts. This is actually from scam messages. I do not know where they get my number. And at the same time, we have to be very careful if we are going to use this kind of online banking. There are a lot of scams, especially that alongside the thing that happened to BPI, BDO, or other platform, financial platform, GCash platforms, the scams over it. We have to be very careful at the same time. Uh, the future of AI in our workplace, I believe that we are all educators. We are all having this kind of avenue towards the factors of utilizing AI to day living. But always remember that yes, we can use this AI, but we have to use this responsibly. Allow me to give you an ending point of our discussions, but you don't have to worry, because if you wanted to for me to give you ample of lists of AI tools, you can actually chat me directly, PM me directly, because I'll be providing you the guidelines at the same time if you want to. So allow me to leave you with this quote. As artificial intelligence evolve, we must remember that its power lies not in replacing human intelligence, but in augmenting it. The true potential of AI lies in ability to amplify human creativity and ingenuity. This is actually from Jenny Rotmiti. So these are my references. Actually, there are more references that I can't take it on. It is because of the slides. But anyway, I will just be providing you somehow would would time allows us. Yes. So thank you so much again for listening. And I hope at the same time, with my simple and at the same time a bit of like small expertise towards this kind of AI tools, it provided you an open-mindedness towards utilizations of this kind of AI.
All right, thank you so much from our very own resource speaker. It was indeed a very scholarly shared presentation on the exploration of AI tools in language and literature research. Now, it's your turn to get involved. We actually have an open forum coming up where you can engage with Sir Ian, our very own resource speaker, and ask questions. Right, Ma'am Leia?
Yes, Sir Charlie, that is right. But before that, though, I believe we could use some probably 2 to 3 minute for a quick 2 to 3 minute break, uh, health break. Yeah, maybe we've been wanting to use the restrooms, or probably do some stretching, or maybe you could drink some water. And right after that short break, that would be exactly, or maybe 10:59 or 11, we will be back at this program. Okay. So, yeah, let's enjoy the 2 minute health break.
All right. I think we are all back, everyone. All right. So, did anyone manage to solve the word hunger or even write a novel during the short break? Just kidding. Anyways, feeling refreshed can actually make a big difference. I hope those 2 minutes were filled with some rejuvenating stretches or a quick mindfulness moment, or simply a chance to grab a refreshing drink. A healthy mind and body are essential for a productive session. So thank you for taking the time for yourselves. So, to keep the momentum going, we will now open the floor to your burning and mind blowing questions. To facilitate this open forum discussion, help me welcome Sergio Kudera.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Charlie. Hello, everybody. Good morning, and I am so happy to be your moderator for today's Q&A session no, in our webinar on revolutionizing language and literature research with AI tools. And I bet everybody would agree with me that it is no doubt that today's webinar is something that is insightful, something that is refreshing and informative to all of us given that a wealth of knowledge has been shared to us by our topic expert. And he actually provided us with various AI tools that we can use in our research and even to make our even to make the work of teachers and researchers more convenient. And so for this morning, I believe you have prepared or you have reserved questions or some queries no, for our topic expert to address. But before that one, allow me to walk you through first to some of our open forum guidelines to ensure a seamless, conduct of these sessions. So first, I am encouraging everybody to kindly make use of the chat box no one submitting your questions. And we encourage all our participants to be concise and to be specific with your questions. If you wish to address your questions directly to our resource speaker, kindly click the raise hand icon and wait until you are recognized. The second one, please take note that each participant is entitled only to one follow-up question so that we can allow more time for others also to raise their concerns. And lastly, let's maintain a respectful and professional environment for our discussion. Okay, so let's start the ball rolling. May I request now our participants to chat in your questions or your concerns for our resource speaker to answer. I believe our resource speaker is very excited and very eager to address your questions. I think earlier I have seen a question here coming from Mr. Elmark Huwain. Okay, so here is actually a question, Sir Ian. Do you consider AI as a myth because some says that AI will actually replace teacher? Again, do you consider AI as a myth because some says that AI will replace teacher?
That is actually kind of like tricky questions because again, as I have discussed a while ago, that nevertheless AI is there for us to have an assistant on our day-to-day basis, but at the same time, it can never replace human experts and at the same time, especially teachers. Now, as an educator, I somehow, yes, I am using or utilizing this kind of AI tools, but I believe it nevertheless can give a variety of kind of critical thinking abilities or activities to our students. And that makes us a bit of like not an edge, but at the same time different from this kind of AI tools. Yes, I did mention a while ago that this kind of like AI tools is having a task, definitely a kind of organization of tasks which they are assigned on. And that means it has limitations over a teacher that is entirely a holistic kind of view as an educators, and we can do something out of the line. So what I mean is that this kind of AI tools can never entirely replace teachers, and basically these are just unhelpful machinery, and at the same time kind of AI tools that could give us ample of tools that could entirely deliver our discussions accordingly and at the same time smoothly.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Ian. It was actually highlighted by our speaker earlier that AI should be seen as a powerful assistant, but not a replacement for human expertise. Okay, now we are still open to entertaining more questions or concerns from our participants. Are you still with us? Can you give me or can you give us a heart reaction, please? Okay. Any heart reaction for our resource speaker and our webinar for this morning? Okay, I have here another message or concern from Miss Sheila Nuenes. I am glad, let me read. I am glad that I attended these webinar, these answers to my queries on how to make research life easier. May we have a list of AI tools and its use to research, since most of those AI tools were my first time to encounter. Awareness will drive wonders indeed. Thank you for organizing these events with us. Yes, Sir Ian. Other than those that you presented earlier, are there any other tools that they can also make use in their research?
Oh, yes, there are actually many, but I did filter out again the limitations of us having to filter out the validity of our AI tools. Actually, there are many kind of AI tools that I did not mention a while ago, but the one that I mentioned a while ago are those kind of validated already kind of AI tools by somehow UNESCO and other else universities are using it in their platform education and especially in their research. But yes, I am very happy that there are actually, I am asking a while ago if those kind of AI tools are very familiar with our audiences. And some of our audiences are entirely doesn't have any ideas about this kind of AI tools. And I believe yes, we'll be compiling, by the way, this kind of AI tools that you can use and what is its functions on research so that you can have a bit of like guide at the same time on how to use this in terms of your research. And you know what? If before, a lot of our students and even us are very afraid when we're talking about the word or term research, right? But currently, because of this kind of AI tools, the assistance of this kind of chat box, these are actually very helpful for us to at the same time our alter our reflections towards towards research. It is entirely hard because it's not. It's the matter of how we sit on the AI tools. It's the matter of how critically we think we are, and at the same time, how we manage to diverse or transcend our imaginations towards the intricacies of this kind of AI tools.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Ian, for skillfully guiding us. So there you go, our dear participants. We will be provided with a list of possible AI tools that we can make use in our research, and probably this will be sent to your respective emails once we have finalized everything. Okay, I have seen here another question from Mr. BJ Oletres, which states, what are ethical issues that we need to consider in the use of AI in the conduct of research? This is a very nice question. Sir
All
Ian?
right. Thank you, Sir BJ. Actually, that is the thing that we are trying to consider, that even a lot of universities here in the Philippines and even abroad, they are trying to navigate of how they can let their students use this kind of AI, adhering to the kind of ethical issues. And in the same way, a very good platform is that we have AI detection. We also have we are at the same time, our universities are following the plagiarism chapter. We have the AI detection, and most especially, we could not conduct our research in our universities without passing our ethical consideration standards. And those are at the same time one of the factors that contributed on of how we can use this kind of AI tools appropriately. And I believe with AI detection, we are now discovering that even I, as a researchers, could not entirely copy, paraphrase, and paste everything on our research manuscript. It is because we have this kind of AI detection tools. Now, alongside with that kind of paradigm, yes, we can use at the same time the copy, paraphrasing, and at the same time pasting the very kind of content from AI tools. However, our integrations, our integrity towards it as a researcher is to add up analytics if you are going to agree with the statement or disagree with the statements and how it should be ended with conclusion appropriately. So whether we like it or not, yes, AI is everywhere. Of course, we are using it on a daily basis, but always make sure that you are using it responsibly and at the same time following the kind of considerations, ethical considerations from your school, and at the same time integrity towards using it. Because again, we all have our own integrity, right? It's a matter of you being dishonest, of passing your manuscript, and it's all copy and paste. It is you at the end point. Your conscience at the same time will wake you up at the end of the line.
Okay, thank you, Sir Ian. That's true, no, that AI is there to help us, but that doesn't mean that we would be so dependent and we would just copy everything from AI. Because as professionals and researchers, we need to always adhere with academic integrity. Okay, now I have here another question from Sir Russell. What is your opinion, Sir Ian, on teachers being hard on their stance on the use of artificial intelligence in education through generative AI has been ubiquitous and is already used by students? Okay.
All right. I believe that is actually one of the hardest questions we can answer on. It is because we can never force everyone to use it, and we can never force our educational platform to adapt to it instantly, right? And that is the very reason why pandemic comes. There is a bit of transition. We are going to give lectures to teachers in order for us to have a transition smoothly to LMS. Now, with that question, actually, utilizing AI is our own options. Okay. So nevertheless, it is not a prerequisite or a requirement for you to use it. But a while ago, I'm using the paradigm shift kind of illusions wherein we are going to view one picture in a various kind of perspective. It is because one way that we can understand this kind of platform is to navigate and at the same time understand how it works and its limitations. The very thing that I've discussed to you a while ago. And with that, actually, we can offer this kind of limitations and even potentials to teachers. And endpoint is it's up to them if they are going to accept it or not. Okay, so again, we cannot entirely require teachers to do at the same time because even up until this time, there are still teachers who are not technology driven, right? So we can never change the fact that this kind of transitions is not entirely will do smoothly, and that the very reason why we have this kind of topic, revolution instead of evolution, because again, when we're talking evolution, that is a complete transition, complete change, but revolution is adherence to the very transition in a smooth manner of changing a thing. So yeah, that's it. I hope that answers Sir Shama.
Okay, thank you, Sir Ian. We also have here another question from Sir Manggubat. Do we need to cite AI in our papers?
No. All right. That is a bit of a tricky because again, if we are going to use information from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or what other social media, we all actually having the definite kind of format on how to cite them. However, when we're talking about the AI tools, definitely we could never definitely specifically cite a bit of like Gemini. We use Gemini because of course that is unethical for us researchers to abide or just to have that on. However, when we are using Gemini, uh, even so illicit, Perplexity, Chat PDFs, and Chat GPT, they're actually providing the references for your guide. So you don't have to worry. Just like, for example, if Gemini would give you an ample of answers, have your last prompt be like this. Provide references in MLA format, 9th edition MLA format. So it's nevertheless be an hinder for us to acknowledge this kind of citations. But the chat GPT 1, 2, and 3 could not provide citations. I'm so sorry. Only chat GPT 4, I believe. That is why Gemini
Okay,
is all real time.
so thank you so much, Sir Ian. I have here a follow-up question from Sir Elmark. Like, what are the advantages and disadvantages of using AI as tool in the field of education, since education system is evolving all throughout? And his question is, how can you avail to ensure that AI models still consider unbiased and ethical?
Okay. Uh, Let me dichotomize the set of questions from Sir Elmark, and this is actually a very good platform. No, I have discussed a while ago the advantages that it makes our life as a researcher or even an educator a bit easier because of the platforms or the AI tools that presented a while ago. However, the disadvantage of it is, of course, the biases of the algorithm because, again, it was organized by definite kind of task. It is functioned by that kind of definite task. And another questions from Sir Elmark here is that how can you avail to ensure that AI models still consider unbiased and ethical? And that is the power now of the teachers. Okay, because we as a researchers and the teachers, we are the person behind the critical filtering and at the same time critical evaluations if we are going to use it or we are going to skip it. It is because of this unbiased and unethical kind of procedural in terms of explaining a thing. So I will be using another AI tools. And with that, with this kind of multiple AI tools and even natural language processing, so we can now navigate of which one we can use as a researcher or even an educator. And I believe uh, a very good thing about this kind of AI tools is it's not them who will decide at the end point. It's us as a researcher.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Ian. Thank you so much, Sir Elmark, as well for that question. I have here another concern or question from Miss Fabi Catis. First, let me read. First, I am grateful to have attended this webinar. This is beyond helpful to me, especially in integrating the research culture. My question is, what is the most difficult situation you have encountered and are frightened to face while using AI on a professional basis?
All right. That is entirely a very difficult question as well. The very difficult situations of utilizing this kind of AI is, I believe, again, would revolve around the biases. And at the same time, teachers who are fond of copying it, paraphrasing it, or even copy and pasting definitely directly on their manuscript. And you know what? This kind of responsible use of AIs is one of the difficult things that we are trying to consider because as an advocate of this kind of AI tools towards the benefits of AI to research, it is at the same time out of our control if there are a lot of researchers who are unethical of utilizing it. But alongside with this kind of AI tools, I believe UNESCO currently they are providing a lot of guidelines to universities of how we can actually create responsible ambience and responsible environment of utilizing this kind of AI. And I believe if you are going to read that out on their kind of articles from UNESCO, there are a lot of definite kind of guidelines of how to use this kind of various AI tools of how to be ethical and at the same time retain the integrity of you becoming a researcher and at the same time the user of AI tools. And I believe we may have transformed our research world into AI integrative tools. However, again, we are to retain the integrity part and at the same time we are to retain the very ethical standard procedure of how we are going to of how we can utilize this kind of AI. So I believe there are more things that needs to be discovered because again, these are new things. All right. So there are more to discover, there are more to research about it, and there are more futuristic hypotheses towards this kind of AI tools.
Okay, thank you so much, Sir Ian. Well said. We also have another question here from Mr. Algis. Do we have universities in the country that have policies as regards to use of generative AI in research? I know some, but not here in the Philippines.
Yes, that is a sad reality because in Forbes study 2023, it provided some of the universities outside the country, outside the Philippines, of the considerations and even the guidelines of how to use this kind of AI tools with a definite kind of policies. It is sad to say that here in the Philippines, a lot of universities, even I attended UP delegations for integrative AI tools in terms of research and educational platform. However, they couldn't provide somehow a definite kind of policy of how to use this kind of generative AI. And I believe a lot of people or experts right now in research and educational arena are creating this kind of policies. And even so, they are granting kind of researches, granting an amount for those people who could have the research that would implement the policies of AI utilizations. And I believe we can do it as PhD students, as teachers, as researchers. We can contribute to the very ethical standards of how we can implement this kind of policy in our universities or even our consecutive kind of schools inside our schools. And even so, right? Even as teachers, we always remind our students that I personally remind my students that it's okay to use AI tools, but those are just your assistants and guide. But nevertheless, I want you to be critical. I want you to improve your critical thinking and at the same time use this kind of AI tools responsibly.
Okay, thank you, Sir Ian. This might be a good input, no? Especially when we will be doing, or we will be effecting sort of change, particularly in policy making in our respective universities and school. Now we have here another question, Sir Ian, from Miss Velasco. Good day, sir. This question may be away from the foci of the talk, yet I just want to ask, how can we effectively integrate AI in the classroom or in the teaching and learning process?
Okay. That is a bit of like a different perspective because alongside with our discussion, it focuses on the research and nevertheless not in educational side. However, recently I have provided lectures and ENSA trainings of Saint Bernard in schools in Lapu-Lapu about the utilizations of various kind of AI, game-like kind of AI tools in their teaching learning process. Just like, for example, the Kahoot game. Kahoot game is nevertheless an AI supported activity, and even now, you can generate questions through AI inside Kahoot game. That is entirely a very interactive, very engaging kind of activity inside the class. And I am currently using Kahoot game within my class in terms of evaluations and at the same time assessment. Now, there is actually potentials inside the classroom when we're talking about integrating this kind of AI tools. Okay. However, if we are going to see the reality side factors of the educational system in the Philippines, aside from the lack of budget towards technological advancement in the Philippines, one factor is that how much more if we are talking about internet connectivity to some provinces in the Philippines. So I believe, yes, there are ways on how we effectively use this kind of AI tools, but there are actually realities and limitations towards Philippine educational system. And the kind of matter is at the same time propagating this kind of advocacy to a lot of teachers, for a lot of teachers to know exactly how to use this kind of AI in their classrooms. But the end point there is the resources available? That is the endpoint question there. It is because somehow we might share a kind of advocacy to teachers, but at the same time, we are to face reality that indeed availability of the resources is entirely not seen. To some, disclaimer, to some of the university or school in the Philippines.
Okay, thank you, Sir Ian. Just to inform our participants in advance, like in as much as we would like to cater all your concerns here, but I think we will just narrow down to our one last, question from our participants. And that doesn't mean that we will not be entertaining questions. You can still address your questions to our resource speaker, as we will give you the evaluation link later. Okay. So at this point, may I now call in Miss Leia because she wishes to ask something? or ask directly to our
Yeah,
resource speaker?
yeah. Thank you, Sir Jeff. Actually, it's not a question, but just kind of answer. Just I just want to share something based, of course, on the questions raised. I think it was from Sir Eric, and there was one also about citing AI generated texts. There was that question. Now, I just want to share what what I learned yesterday from the webinar that I and Sir Charlie attended, hosted by the research office of Benguet State University. They invited a speaker from LaSalle. It was Dr. I forgot her entire name. Anyway, yeah, the same question raised by a participant yesterday, and then according to the speaker, the LaSalle is now adopting guidelines, and yeah, she specifically mentioned that we cannot cite, obviously, because AI is not human, so we cannot include AI generated. I mean, the answer of AI, and we cannot include them in the work cited section or in the bibliography. However, according to her, based on the UNESCO guidelines, the LaSalle is now formulating, has been adopting, baguhay lang daw, this policy wherein they require every paper or every researchers to put a disclaimer in every section of their paper. For example, in the conceptualization of the research problem, there is a disclaimer at the lower part, end note, that this part or this statement of the problem has AI generated entry. This is also based on the simple model that Robert Gates proposed. So they adopted this. And she also mentioned that this is also some of the Scopus Index journals have been adopting, and De La Salle is adopting, that they have disclosure. They make sure that there is disclosure in every part of the paper. But again, it all depends on the university. Pero sila daw, they are starting to implement this guidelines. So there's disclosure. As simple as the following content was generated entirely by an AI-based system based on a specific request, something like that. Or if there is really none, let's say in the methodology part, for example, there is a disclaimer at the lower part that the following content was generated entirely by me without the assistance of AI-based system. So yeah, this is what they are adopting. So in other words, there is a university now that is adopting this guideline, and that's De La Salle, based on what I've learned yesterday, right, Sir Charlie?
Yes, ma'am, I couldn't agree more for that.
Yeah.
It's really
Okay, thank
Just
you
that,
so
Sir
much
Jeff.
thank you so much Leia for that rejoinder, and it's actually a good input as well. And I believe, no, since we are really running out of time, this time around, ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the end of our Q&A session, the webinar organizer will be giving simple tokens now to our dear participants. Okay, so for this morning, we will be choosing 4 lucky winners from our wheel of names, and each lucky winner will actually receive 500 pesos Gcash. Okay, so just to remind everybody that once your name is called, kindly unmute yourself and just state your name and the school, and probably I'll just ask you few takeaways from our webinar this morning. And if the participant is no longer around, then we will have to choose another one. Is everybody ready? Can I see perhaps a thumbs up from everybody? Okay. See, yeah. Let's start with the first lucky winner of 500,000 Gcash. Okay. So our first lucky winner we have here Miss Laika A. Lumabe. Is Miss Laika still around? Yes, walay pabor-pabor, Doc Jojet. Is Miss Laika around? If she's not around, then we'll...
She has to use her mic.
Yeah, she has to unmute herself. Okay, I think she's no longer here. Then we have to choose another lucky winner. Who do you think will be our first lucky winner? Because there are actually almost 100 who registered in our attendance link. Okay, we have here Mr. Albert C. Klata. Is Mr. Klata around? Sir? Oh, not around. Let's move on to the next lucky winner. Sir Eric, you're not Sir Albert. Okay, next. Okay. Really, out of 100, there are only 56 left in the Zoom platform. Okay, what about Chris Ansley Victorino? Is he or she around? I think wala.
Wala,
Then
Sir
let's
Jim.
proceed to the next one. The probability of winning, keeps on increasing. Okay. We have here Miss Rhoda Basco Galanco. Miss Rhoda, are you here? I would also invite or encourage our participants to kindly turn on your camera so we could get to see you. I think she's not around. Let's move on. Let's see. Yeah. First lucky winner. We have here Miss Sheena Manongsong. Sheena, are you here? I think she's not around. Let's proceed. Murag ang organizer, siguro yung makadako. Okay. Now we have here Miss Cecilia Banicod. Miss Cecilia, I think wala. Let's proceed. Pasana to. Come on. Who will be our first lucky winner? Okay, we have Lalaine M. Carrot. Is she around? Wala. Let's proceed. Doc Jojit na yan. Okay. We are still looking for our first lucky winner. Yes, okay. What about John Kenneth Vicente? Is he around? Still not around, I think. Let's proceed to another lucky winner. Okay. Lucky us. Okay, kami na lang po. Oh, here we go. One of the organizers here, we have Miss Georgie Ambato. Miss Georgie.
Hi, I'm very lucky today. Thank you.
Yes, okay. So kindly message your number, GCash number, and your name as well, Mom Georgie. Thank you. So please take note, Mom Dale. Okay. So let's have our second lucky winner. Yay! May pampaniud to na ni. Ako na lang po. Okay. Is Miss Evie Tadla still around?
Hello. Good
Hello,
morning, everyone.
ma'am. Hello, good morning. Before we ask your GCash number, ma'am, we just would like to ask your takeaways or your impression for this webinar.
I actually did raise my question earlier, but I'm beyond grateful really for attending this webinar. Thank you so much for Sir Ian Harabello. I actually just saw this webinar through his Facebook um, post, so I'm glad that I really attended this. So, well, thank you so much. I did learn a lot of what's this new AI tools. Then I'm familiar with what's this Bard or Gemini and Chat GPT only. And thank you. I did learn a lot. So that's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Fabi. Could you please message us your GCash number so we can send to you your prize? Okay, we have our second winner already. Now, this time we'll have the third lucky winner of 500 pesos GCash. Okay. So our third lucky winner, I think he doesn't need this, no? Would you like to wave? No? Sir Eric, you're the third winner. Sir Akina, Sir Eric, and Sir Elmar.
I'd like to donate this to other lucky winner.
Okay, that would be great. Okay, so he waved,
Oh,
his love.
okay. May nag-chat dito kanina eh. Sa
Yes.
natuwa ako kanina, sir. Yung
Okay.
nagsabi na kami yung nagtanong. Since kami ang may mga tanong, I'll give the 500 pesos to Elmark
Oh,
Uway.
wow. Okay, yes. Sir Elmar, could you please unmute yourself? Are you still there? Sir Elmar?
Yes po.
There you go. You're one of our lucky winners. So, Sir Elmar, any impression or takeaway from the webinar?
Nasagot naman na po ni Sir Ian kanina yung mga questions ko. So, thank you so much for enlighten us kasi AI will never replace teacher inside the classroom. Yun lang po.
That's true. Okay, Sir Elmar, please do not forget to message us your GCash. And
Thank
moving
you so
down.
much po.
Yes, po. Okay. So this time around, we will choose our last lucky winner. Okay. Ako sad sir ng question sad ko. Okay. We have here Miss Sheila Ruanse. Is she around? Sheila? I think she's not around. Let's move on. Okay, let's be fast because time is running. Our next is we have here Miss Mary Fatima Corona. Is she still around? I think she's no longer here. Let's proceed. Okay, we have Mr. Raul Casas. Let me check. I think he's no longer here in the Zoom platform. Let's move on to the next one. Ako puro rakabuang kagani. Sir, we just hope, sir, this will be yours. Okay, we have here Maria Cristina Agdamag. Ma'am, are you still here, ma'am? Wala na. Let's proceed to the last lucky winner. Okay. We have here Joraisa Pobadora. Miss Joraisa, are you here? Wala. Okay. Let's proceed. Let's make this faster. Sir Charlie and Ma'am Leia now are excited for the next part. Okay. What about Mr. Marlon Sagidon? Sir Marlon?
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Oh, hello, sir. Good morning. Good to hear you. And we are actually happy that you're still here. Sir, any takeaways or impression for the webinar? Sir Marlon? Is Sir Marlon still with us?
I think intermittent siya, sir.
Okay. He's having actually, a problem.
Andito siya sa participants, sir, no?
Kindly check if he's still around. Wala?
He is, Sir Jim.
Okay, so probably maybe we'll just ask Sir Marlon not to send us his GCash number. And probably we might ask, Mom Georgie, because Mom Georgie is one of the organizers here. She might want to waive, her, her win, for the GCash.
I already did, actually. I message, is that Alvar? I replied to his message that my GCash is for him. So.
That would be great. Yay!
Thank you, Mom Georgie.
Okay, yay. Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, our 4 lucky winners for our for lucky winners of GCash worth of 500 pesos. Okay, so at this point, may I now turn you over to our beautiful MCs, Sir Charlie and Ma'am Leia.
Yes, thank you so much. It was really an incredible open forum discussion. So thank you also for participating so actively. Your insightful questions and engaged energy really made it dynamic conversation. On a lighter note, a big thank you to Sir Jeev for the $1 million Gcash giveaway. I know those prizes will definitely come in handy, but at this point, I'd like to respectfully request everyone to open your camera if your internet connection allows for a photo opportunity before we proceed to the next part of the program.
We will take 3 photos. I will allow you to turn on your cameras for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna take 3. Smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. This is the second frame. 1, 2, 3, smile. And then the third one. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay.
All right, there you have it. That was a wonderful snapshot of all the brilliant minds and inspiring faces in this virtual room. Yeah, this captures the energy and the spirit of today's event perfectly. So, as we move on to the next part of our program, it's time to recognize the outstanding contributions of both our speaker and, of course, our participants. So, to present the certificates of appreciation, please join me in welcoming Ms. Maria Rebecca Abayan. Rebecca?
Thank you, Ma'am Leia. Wow, today's webinar is truly a blast, no? The insightful and highly informative talk of Sir Ian ignites a spark of interest and enthusiasm in us to brave the challenge of conducting research, no? His talk not only capacitates us with the useful knowledge and technical skills, but also inspires us to use these AI tools to our advantage in coming up with better, scholarly, and what else? Highly laudable research works, no? But we have to remember, according to Sir Ian, that we may use these AI tools like Elicit, Gemini, Perplexity, or a combination of these powerful tools. We have to maintain the critical, ethical, and responsible use of these AI tools, no? And the best thing about attending this webinar, we are already equipped with the knowledge and technical know-how on how to use these AI tools, no, to our advantage in coming up with the research in language and literature. So let's do it. All right. So I'm sure we have to admit that many of us before attending the webinar, we have little knowledge about these AI tools, including me, no? But after listening to the talk of Sir Ian, he somehow raised our level of knowledge to that high level, and he really inspires us to really make use of these AI tools to aid us in coming up with our research. So we are very thankful to Sir Ian for taking on the challenge in our class to do the talk as our speaker for today. Thank you, Sir Ian. So it is most fitting that we present to you this award of appreciation or certificate of appreciation. The citation reads, University of San Jose-Recoletos, Magallanes Street, Cebu City, Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, and PhD Ilang 114, that is Seminar in Integrated Language and Literature class. A certificate of appreciation is presented to Sir Ian Harabello, a lecturer of University of San Jose-Recoletos, for sharing his time and expertise as the resource speaker of the webinar on revolutionizing language and literature research with AI tools, held on this day, July 6, 2024, from 9 a.m. to 12 noon via Zoom video conferencing platform. Given this 6th day of July 2024 via Zoom video conferencing platform. Signed, Dr. Marieta de Boncales, the course professor of PhD Ilang 114 and the Dean of Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. Also signed by Reverend Father Jose Alden B. Alipin, OAR, the Vice President for the Academics and Research. And of course, we also have certificates for the participants, but it will be sent to you individually in your respective email. So thank you so much, Sir Ian, and to all the participants. Thank you for gracing this affair.
All right. Thank you so much, Mom Rebecca. At this time, Sir Charlie. Yeah.
Yes, Mom Leia.
Yes, sir. We appreciate everyone. If you could please answer or complete the evaluation. The evaluation link is in the in-call messages. Please don't forget. Yes, sir.
All right. So at this point of time, we are now down to the last part of our program. So to conclude this insightful event, it's my pleasure to introduce our esteemed closing speaker, the esteemed Dean of School of Arts and Sciences of the University of San Jose-Recoletos. Ladies and gentlemen, to share some final thoughts and leave us with valuable takeaways from today's program, let's give a warm round of applause to Dr. Marieta Boncales.
My warm applause should go to all of you. Our dear participants coming from the different places of the country, my amazing educators and partners in the PhD Ilang 114 Seminar Integrated Language and Literature class, who are responsible for making this webinar a huge success. So thank you for this beautiful experience, especially to our participants. Although some, gave the remarks like this is an additional input, additional pieces of information. Nevertheless, you have shared, no, in the educational landscape. So allow me to reiterate what has been shared by our young techie savvy AI magnate, and according to Sir Eric, rising luminar, rising lecturer, Sir Ian Harabello. AI has been existing for quite some time, even before 1943, and has been known to many, most especially in the business world. AI is business in itself. Now, in the educational landscape, the numerous versions of ChatGPT, ChatPDF, what else? And the variety of, the generative AI tools effectively utilized for the teaching learning process, as well as the research and scholarly works. Whether AI is a business, whether it is an educational tool or a controlling machine or system, one thing for sure, we cannot do away with AI. We cannot prevent the spread of AI like infectious diseases, like the COVID, nor avoid dealing with it. It has penetrated and even disturbed our solitude. It has gone a long, long way and continued to evolve. Tap your shoulders, embrace yourselves, establish connections, read books, strengthen the bond among family members. Be open to express one's emotions, accept failures, because after all, we are the masters of AI. As you define artificial intelligence in one word, like helpful, innovative, what else? tool, aid, machine, game changer, transformative, revolutionary. I thank you for not writing human being. Because it cannot be and will not be. AI cannot become a human being, not even a replacement. There's nothing to replace an educator who would, tap the shoulders of the students, saying greetings and leave takings to the students, saying or asking how your students are working or are doing. All of these cannot be replaced by machines. And we know that for a fact. I guess I went beyond the time given to me. Again, thank you, Sir Ian, for accepting the challenge. I even chatted you last night. You can do it. Laban lang. And he answered back, yes, fighting, Doc. So congratulations once again to our dear participants. Thank you for journeying with us for 2 or more than 2 hours. And of course, my seminar experts class, Sir Ian, our knowledgeable sharer and speaker, Sir Russell, Sir Jiv, Sir Jeff, Sir Eric, Sir Charlie, Ma'am Rebecca, Ma'am Leia. This is not according to age, ha? Ma'am Karen, Ma'am Maymay, Ma'am Glendale, and Ma'am Georgie. Thank you for Ma'am George for waiving the 500 peso, GCash, as well as Sir Eric. Thank you. So thank you again for making this undertaking a huge, beautiful experience and success. Not only an experience, but it is indeed a success. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Marietta Buncales. Yes, Ma'am Lay?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Goncalves. There you have it, everyone. Yeah, this concludes our exciting webinar. Yes, Sir Charlie?
With the power to generate new ideas, new stories, and new perspectives, AI is revolutionizing the way we think about language and literature. It's no longer just about humans creating content, but about humans and machines collaborating to create something entirely new. Remember, AI tools are powerful allies, but as we heard today, let's be responsible users is paramount.
All right. Yeah. So there you have it. We hope that you will leave feeling inspired and equipped to explore the exciting possibilities that AI presents. Remember, these tools are here to augment our research and not to replace critical thinking and creativity. Yeah, there you have it. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. And please stay tuned also to Arts and Sciences Facebook page because we will have an international webinar coming up. Yeah, right, Sir Charlie?
Yes, indeed, exactly. It's something the most awaited.
Yeah, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for attending our webinar for today.
All right, thank you again, once again, for the event success. Until next time, happy researching. God bless everyone.
I thought, Sir Charlie, you are going to say, happy AIing.